One of our favorite Dynasty videos to record on a weekly basis.
As
And you
always,
guys love
baby.
it as well. If you want your Dynasty trades to be considered for this video series, quite simple. Join our Discord with the link in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you paste a trade, make sure it's screenshots and you give context. Anytime you paste a trade, post a trade into our Discord on the Dynasty Trades text channel, we will consider it
That is
each
right.
week for this video series.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of good trades to talk about. Kyle Pitts is a huge name in Dynasty right now.
That's right.
We're gonna talk about him. T.J. Hawkinson, Jahan Dotson, Jameson Williams is here, yeah. But Javonte Williams is a huge
That's big.
people want to know what to do with him.
Yeah.
There's a couple of trades involving him. We got trades involving Jeff Wilson, Derrick Henry, DJ Moore, Najee Harris, first round picks, second round picks, Rashad Bateman,
Mm-hmm.
Montgomery, Calvin Ridley, out of sight, out of mind, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Romeo
The
Dobbs,
whole people,
Pat,
man.
the
Come on.
Dragon Firemuth, Geno Smith. What do we do with Geno? Do we believe in him? So it's a lot of good names and I think really interesting topics on today's video, and we're excited to cover it for you. Do us a
100%.
favor, drop a like, subscribe, and comment any trades you've been making in the comments below. Trade number 1 is from Aaron Swarm. Shout out to Aaron in
Shout
our
out to
Charlie
you.
League.
Send me Wandale Robinson. He doesn't want to trade me Wandale Robinson. I've been trying to get him the whole
Smart.
time. Anyways.
Smart man. All right. So he says, would you trade away? Oh, I actually, he didn't have any context for this one. That's my bad. Okay. So team 1 gets DJ Moore, Najee Harris. Team 2 gets Derrick Henry, Durka, Jeff Wilson. My name's Jeff. 24
name's
second
Dave.
and a 23 first round pick. Okay, so obviously Jeff Wilson is a big name. We have a specific opinion. I believe we're on the same page about him in Dynasty.
Yeah.
Where do you stand with this trade?
Oh, man, this is tough. I think this is, at the moment, the way it feels like it's close to a toss-up, but not really. I don't want DJ. I guess to start with Team 1 side, I don't want DJ Moore right now. I still believe in Najee, and that this is one of your biggest regression candidates here. But Derrick Henry, the long term, is not the answer for me, which Najee still has a couple more years. Jeff Wilson is not the long term answer for me either. So the way I'm really seeing this is a 23 first and a 24 second. I mean, you still get these pieces, but you probably have them for a year, maybe not even a second year. I don't know what's going to happen with Henry. You don't know what's going to happen with Jeff Wilson.
Yeah.
If Team 2 is specifically a win now team and is competing, trying to win everything and just go crazy in Dynasty, then I would say Team 2. But if Team 1, or if it's vice versa, and I wish we had the context for this because it would really stir me in the right way, but I am going to have to give it to Team 1. As much as I do not like DJ Moore, give me Najee, still a young piece, 24 years old, DJ Moore, only 25 years old, and hey, it sounds crazy because we've been off DJ the whole time.
Yeah.
It's getting to the point where you have to get a quarterback. It's getting to the point in 2023. If they don't draft a quarterback, what are you doing with this organization? And hopefully it's a CJ, hopefully it's a Bryce, and maybe DJ Moore. We can be starting to have a different conversation about him.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see what he looks like with PJ Walker, because at least in PJ Walker's time, he force-fed DJ Moore. So that will be interesting. But yeah, do you guys remember when I had that sell high take, player that we were passionate about selling high on? That was DJ Moore this offseason. I got kind of roasted in the comments. It is what it is. He was the wide receiver 12 in the community's eyes when I brought that take. He is currently the wide receiver 32. It's been rough for him. I know you can't blame it all on DJ. Obviously, situation's not been good.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm saying that is because I still feel the same way. I don't want DJ Moore. And Najee Harris, like Badaki said, one of my biggest regression candidates coming in. You're right. If Team 2 is a win now team, then this is a huge, huge W for them.
Yeah.
Because they get to ride out Derrick Henry, who is top 5 in redraft right now. Jeff Wilson has an incredible schedule coming up. And you still get the future capital in 23 to go get one of these running backs that we really love. The Evans, maybe Jahmyr Gibbs if he falls, or depending on where that first round pick is. Yeah. Maybe Sean Tucker if he decides to keep building his portfolio going into the draft. So like he's a lawyer or something. I'll take Team 2 here as well. And to be honest, it's not all that close. I am not a fan of selling low on Najee Harris in Dynasty, but I don't view this as a sell low. So give me team 2. I gave team 1 a B minus, team 2 an A minus. So it's pretty close, but I am team 2 side.
Okay. Yeah, I'm team 1. I gave team 1 a B and then team 2 a B minus. And I think it's really close, but I'm taking the younger player.
You're team 1 or you're team 2? Because you said you were team 2 the whole time.
No, I said I'm going to take DJ Moore as much as I don't like him. I'm taking DJ Moore and Najee
I didn't get
Harris.
that in your take. maybe that's just me.
Yeah, I said I'd take DJ Moore and Najee Harris. As much as I don't like DJ, I'm going to go with the youth here because,
fair enough.
That's what
Okay, fair enough. No, I can see where you're coming from. All right, the second trade here is from Kyle Picard. Shout out to Kyle. Again, another Patreon supporter. Appreciate you guys. Context, 12-team, 1 quarterback, PPR. He says, I traded Hawk the day he went off. Also, I have Njoku. So he is obviously team 1 side here. He got Kyle Pitts. Team 2 got TJ Hawkinson and Jahan Dotson. You know, I've been a huge advocate of Kyle Pitts all offseason. And I'll just start us off here. I still am willing to buy Kyle Pitts low like this. And I view this as a buy low, personally. For TJ Hawkinson, he's still going to go into that boom-bust category. He went off without Amon-Ra, without DeAndre Swift, and he was actually in redraft, one of my sell-high candidates that week. That we brought on that video. He'll still be boom and bust, but it's only going to get worse because guess who's coming in? Jameson Williams soon. So to me, TJ Hawkinson, again, not someone that I'm prioritizing. There's no long-term contract, if I'm not mistaken. I love Jahan Dotson. Have absolutely loved seeing his usage thus far. But if Curtis Samuel is going to be a big part of this game plan, when is the Jahan Dotson takeover season? You just signed Terry long-term. Curtis Samuel, I believe, still has another year on his contract. So when does that happen, and will the quarterback play ever be stable? Even if Kyle Pitts doesn't pan out this year, he is still going to be 22 years old next year. And if they get a quarterback, they're going to be able to figure it out. We're talking about Mark Andrews, who's 26, 27? Like, Kyle Pitts still has a lot of time, and you can even wait through an Arthur Smith firing for someone to figure out how to use him properly. In Dynasty, I'm more than willing to wait the long route on Kyle Pitts, so I'll take the Pitts side. This views like, to me, this is a buy low, and I love it for the Pitts side. Yeah,
I'm going to take the Pitts side as well, as much as Pitts feels like a massive disappointment so far right now. Like Zach said, 22 years old. They could get a quarterback in the draft. So anything can happen. I think keep it simple. Kyle Pitts every day.
And by the way, I feel like we can't watch these games and say that there's not a change coming at quarterback soon, because you're not going to win a lot of games in Atlanta, right?
That's expectation.
And you need to know if Desmond Ridder has any chance of being the guy, because you're going to have a top pick, and we like a lot of these quarterbacks. I really like, when is the Atlanta Falcons bye week? I wonder if I can actually look that up right now, because we could see a change sooner than we think. Okay, their bye week is in week 13. Can you really wait that long to see what Desmond Ridder has?
No, you can't.
They're facing the Niners, then the Bengals. Do you think maybe the Panthers game we could see a change in week 8? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
The thing is with the Falcons, they're not getting shut out in games. They were close with the Rams. They were close with the Bucks. Apparently, not apparently, but a lot of people say maybe the Falcons could have even won that game if they didn't get that roughing the passer call.
Sure.
So, I mean, look, a lot of things have not been going their way, but they've been fighting in some of these games that we expected them to just be complete blowout. So, and that's not even a praise to Marcus Mariota. Maybe that's more on the defense, you know? So,
yeah, they're currently 2-3. How long are you in the middle of the road? What does the GM think there? So, I mean, let's see what happens. But change, I mean, it's not impossible that change could come.
Yeah.
All right, third trade here is from Flash. He says, context is a 12-team PPR Superflex league. Sadly, I had just traded for Javonte 2 weeks before his injury.
Yeah, man.
I am competing and would rather have a startable player. So I assume that this is the trade after he already knew about Javonte's injury, and he moved Javonte for a startable asset. So Team 1 gets Javonte Williams. Team 2 gets Rashad Bateman, a third in both classes. Where do you sit? I mean, a lot of people will probably want to know our stance on Javonte Williams. Where do you sit here?
Look, I guess to answer that question, the stance with Javonte Williams, I am right now scared. This injury is I do believe, very serious. You see people come back from ACL tears. Like, for example, J.K. Dobbins tore his ACL last year in preseason, before preseason started, if I'm not mistaken, or week 1 of preseason. He didn't come back until week 2 or 3 of this season. That's a whole year and more where Javonte Williams did not just tear his ACL. He tore his ACL, his MCL. I forgot what was the other knee injury that he had. I don't know his actual terms.
Right. It was very similar to Dobbins' injury, actually, because Dobbins did all those things as well.
Yeah, so it's very, very similar. It's very, very interesting, and I'm scared to see it, but I still believe in Javonte Williams, only 22 years old.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a scenario where he has to go through a massive hurdle? Like, do we just completely disregard 2023 when he does come back? For example, Saquon Barkley was in his head. He didn't look like the guy the year after he came back from injury. So do you have to wait technically 2 years for the Javonte Williams to come back, and by that time he's 24 years old and almost at that running back turn, close to it? At the moment, I just don't know what to think. I think I have to continue to wait as the season progresses and hear more information. But for the trade specifically, I'm still going to take Javonte Williams. I love Rashad Bateman.
Yeah.
All these picks right now, a third, 2/3, it's not enough for me. It's not anything that I want. A third and 24, a third and 23. Okay. The third and 23 is maybe okay, but like I would still rather have Javonte Williams long term. I still believe in the talent. I'm just scared because of the unknown. But that's my concern.
I think there's good reasons to like have relative concerns for Javonte Williams. Now, the good news is that we have seen people come back from this injury and they have been successful, right? Yeah. That's where I always stand with injuries. It's like, okay, what's the success rate of people coming back from this injury? Mm-hmm. So that gives me hope. And when he went down, it was so sad because in the first half, Melvin Gordon had like 2 touches and Javonte just had all the rest. I think we saw in the Colts game how important Javonte was to this offense. And will they draft another running back? Will they bring one into free agency? We don't know the answer. But I am also willing to wait on Javonte if this is the cost. Like, if this is the cost, I'm more than willing. The 3rd-round picks, you're right. Like, it's so hard to hit on those. Like, the success rate is so up. It's so down. You're not sure if you're going to hit on a 3rd-round pick or not. And then with Rashad Bateman, a prospect that we love, but in a system that, just like Hollywood Brown wanted to leave for more consistency, we don't know what that will look like on a week-to-week basis. There will be weeks where Bateman is healthy and he's the clear guy. Everyone knows it. And he gets 3 targets. Like, that is the unfortunate reality of living within the Lamar Jackson system. Incredible quarterback. You love him for fantasy, for, him as a quarterback. You love it for your team because he's electric to watch and he can do things that no one else can do. But for fantasy, relying on a wide receiver, I am almost at the point where I'm happy to kind of move Bateman if I have him in certain leagues, for other options, just because I don't know that consistency ever comes. And historically, if a wide receiver changes teams, now Hollywood's a different scenario, but if you look at the history of wide receivers who change teams, they typically aren't prioritized in contracts, negotiations and things like that, or even on the field like they were with their first team who drafted them and spent that investment in them. So even if Bateman leaves, it's hard to say where he goes or what that looks like. I love Rashad Bateman, the prospect. I absolutely loved him coming out of Minnesota. I'm not obsessed with this situation anymore. So I'm more than willing to take this risk if this is what it costs for Javonte Williams. And I personally believe that if there's teams out there who aren't wanting to win right now, Javonte's an incredible trade low target. I mean, it's just how I treated J.K. Dobbins in a couple of our leagues last year when I was planning to compete this year. I went out and I gave like 2nd-round picks for him or multiple seconds because I believed in the player. So that's where I kind of stand on it. Like, if you're a rebuilding team, I think Javonte's a good buy low right now. And if you're competing, I understand you want to move him, but this isn't enough for me to move him personally.
Yeah. And
so that's a long-winded answer, but I wanted to kind of explain where I sit on
it's tough.
Him.
It's tough because we don't know what's going to happen with Javonte. The draft can also impact it. What if they get another running back like a Blake Crom, or like you said, like a Sean Tucker, which I doubt, like a complimentary back where it's more of like a split backfield, then it's a more of a concern. It's like, okay, Melvin was there, but he was leaving soon because he was older. But now if they bring someone younger, it's like, dang.
There's reasons for concern.
Still got to ride the wave with Javonte right now.
Yeah, I'm willing to ride it if this is the cost. And I think again, like that, the talent there, I really feel like we were on a breakout, and I want to believe in that. So if this is the price, I'll take it. I gave team one a B plus, team two a B minus. It was close, but it's just not enough for me to move off Javonte.
Yeah, the exact same thing. I like Javonte. Okay. Give me the Javonte side.
All right, the fourth trade here is from Gavin Grant, 12-team, one quarterback PPR competing team. He says, traded Clyde for Hollywood straight up last week. My RBs are Saquon, Swift, Damian Harris, Henderson, plus some backups. Needed to get some depth in case of injury. The guy getting Ridley has decided to start rebuilding. So team one gets Montgomery and Breida. Team two gets Calvin Ridley in a 24-second. I want to know where you stand on this. I've obviously been a big advocate of Calvin Ridley as a great buy low in Dynasty this year. So I'm curious where you stand on this.
Off the rip, what I don't like about Team One side, I know you have Saquon. I don't like the Breida one. If that was anyone else, a Pollard, even if it was Khalil, like Khalil with Monty, that would have made this trade significantly better because Matt Breida means nothing to us, or even a second. Well, you gave away the second, a third, anything, I would have been on the Monty side. I still like Monty. He's only 25 years old. What's going to happen with the contract? Is he going to stay in Chicago or not? And you guys know how I feel about Calvin. It's not that I don't believe in his talent. I think all of the hurdles that he has to, get past with the mental issues. And I guess I'm not saying the gambling and all that stuff is still happening, even with the mental issues. I think there's a lot of hurdles there that I think I just want to avoid. He's currently 27 years old right now. I'm not necessarily sure when his birthday turns. So does he start of next year? Is he 27 still, or is he 28? Do I want to invest in somebody like that? I'm not necessarily sure, but I do like the 2024 second. Right now, it feels like a toss-up, but give me team two. As much as I love Monty, I'm taking the 24 second right now because Matt Breida means absolutely nothing. Once again, a Tony Pollard, a Khalil, a Michael Carter, anything else besides Matt Breida, even a backup, like anything. It just would have been significantly better if we could have gotten something there.
Okay, so you're team two here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also team two. With Monty's situation, and also with Khalil Herbert looking pretty good. I mean, it's hard to really say what Monty's future looks like.
Mm-hmm.
He could definitely be prioritized by someone in free agency. That wouldn't be surprising. But I've been a huge advocate of buying Calvin Ridley on the low in Dynasty this offseason. We've had Dynasty startup drafts where he's going in round 14, round 13, 14, around that area.
Yeah.
And I've traded him and in a couple leagues, even in a home league, and he's been kind of considered like a throw-in. I've been, hey, put Calvin in there. And we're talking like the whole mental health side. I have so much respect for him for taking time out and trying to get himself right. And I'm not equipped enough to know if that will be something that impacts him long term, but I deal with mental health every single day. So I assume it's something that he's just trying to get to a healthy place. And I don't want to hold that against him. I'm not saying that you are, but I just think in general, like with this conversation, that is a big part of it, is like mental health. And I just have respect for him taking time out to do that, because that's really the first time we've ever seen a player do that. But I know for damn sure a lot of players probably should have taken time out for their own mental health. For him to come back, you say, will he be 28? To me, I view him as a player who has already proven that production-wise he can put up top 5 numbers. Now, when he comes back, do I expect that of him? No, but I think I automatically have a wide receiver 2 that I can flex in my Dynasty League on a weekly basis. Does he get traded, or does he join this wide receiver room of Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Calvin Ridley? You put a quarterback there, and my God, Atlanta could look really nice. So I'm willing to take the buy low. And I think the most important thing here is, again, like I said at the beginning, he's so cheap. Like, he's a wide receiver 51 in Dynasty right now. Yeah. You're not really risking anything to go out and get him. So I'm on the team 2 side, and I'm pretty heavy on the team 2 side. I gave it an A. I gave team 1 a B minus. I don't know. Don't know if Monty's going to be prioritized after this season on a team.
Yeah. For me, I gave team 1, a B, and then team 2 a B plus. I think it's very close. I just don't like the Matt Breida in my eyes. So
And on that, I feel like you and I wouldn't even send a 4th-round pick for Matt Breida.
No, we wouldn't send anything.
I don't want to. I don't want to roster him.
I was looking at like a list of names that it could have been. It could have been like Darren Price. It could have been Jalen Warren. It could have been like any of those guys that are a younger piece that could come in and be something, or a formidable backup. Like even if it was like Alexander Madison, for example, that would have made this trade. I would have easily taken Team 1's trade. Because of still the uncertainty of Monty's future, but I would have done that. But anyways.
All right, let's look at this 5th trade from White Shadow 19. Let's look at the trade first, and then we'll bring the context. Team 1 gets Amon-Ra St. Brown, Javonte Williams, Pat Freiermuth. Team 2 gets Romeo Doubs, Isaiah Likely, Jamison Williams, 2025 second-round pick, and a 23 first-round pick. The context, he said, made this trade last week. 10-team Superflex, half PPR, start 10. I'm trying to win the title this year. I have CMC, Connor, Akers, and Etienne as my top running back, so don't need the Javonte production this year. Wide receivers are Kupp, Hill, Evans, Gabe Davis, Hopkins, and now Amon-Ra. Tight end was Komet, who wasn't producing, so added Freiermuth to get a decent floor at least. And the 23 first is likely late. Guy's team is 4-1 right now. So with the context, I'm trying to figure out if he's win now or not, because he says I have CMC, Connor, Akers, and Etienne, so I don't need. Okay, so he's the Javonte side.
He's Javonte side, yeah.
He says he doesn't need Javonte, but I mean, looking at that running back room, I think he might need a running back, don't you think?
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
Outside of CMC?
Yeah.
I think Etienne, I still think Etienne's going to recover. So to be fair, like I have to put my money where my mouth is, so. Yeah. Maybe you're fine. But,
maybe.
Okay. Where do you stand here?
I'm going with Team 2 here. And I love all these players in Team 1. Sounds crazy, but give me the young Romeo Doubs, right? Isaiah Likely showed some sparks. Is he the long-term answer? No. He's not somebody that I'm leaning on. Javonte Jamison Williams, though, I think that is a huge, huge upgrade in the sense of Amon-Ra. And then the way I see this is Javonte Williams for 23 first. So is that Gibbs, Bijan? I mean, depends on where this first is at. If it's a top 5, even a top 6 or 8 pick, I think you can get a really good running back here without the injury and everything. I think my only concern is a tight end, and I wish I knew the context of Team 2. And maybe he has a younger tight end, or maybe he has like a Hunter Henry that he's just, or Tyler Higbee that he's just flexing, and then he's okay to just go with the motions. But I'm gonna take Team 2 here. Oddly enough, I still love Amon-Ra. I like Pack the Dragon. I think what really puts me off, and this is where you see the Javonte Williams flip, right? I love the talent. You still have to ride the wave, but if I can get a first for Javonte now and get rid of that concern and worry, this is where I'm happy, and this is how I'm seeing it. So give me Team 2.
This is tough, man. This is really, this is truly, I think, one of the closest trades we've seen in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra truly emerging. Right now, people have him as a wide receiver 7, according to the community. Do I think he's a top 7 dynasty wide receiver? Maybe, but I still am a huge Jamison Williams believer. And that's where I struggle, because you trade up to go get Jamison Williams into the first round. It's not as if because Amon-Ra has emerged, Jamison Williams now gets 2 targets a game. I still think they want him to be a feature when he comes back.
The offense. I agree.
So right now, Jamison Williams wide receiver 21 according to the community. Amon-Ra wide receiver 7. I personally don't believe there is that big of a gap between them. That's 14 spots between them as wide receivers. I don't think there should be that huge of a gap. Now, I don't want to devalue Amon-Ra either, but I want to maybe put more value on Jamison Williams here.
Right.
And again, out of sight, out of mind, we just haven't been able to see him play just yet because of the injury. This is close, but I mean, Javonte Williams, I think if you have the wide receiver, the running back room that he has, you come back next year, and now you have Javonte in that mix with CMC and Etienne. I mean, that's very, very intriguing to me.
It's going to look nice.
Yeah. And then Pat, I don't think we can undervalue Pat Freiermuth here.
Way.
The concussion is unfortunate, but I mean, he's been really consistent, and with Kenny Pickett, he looks to be one of his favorite targets.
His favorite targets, exactly. That's why it's tough.
Yeah, this is truly split down the middle. Romeo Dubs is the true X factor here, man. Is Romeo Dubs the truth or not? We don't know we still don't know the answer. I can't tell you. He's wide receiver 35 according to the community right now. He's looked really good. Has he shown enough where I'm like, okay, he's ascending to be a top 20 guy? I don't know. I don't know the answer yet.
Has he shown enough to keep Rodgers in for another truly 30 years? You know, like that's the big thing.
But what does that mean if Rodgers leaves?
If Rodgers leaves,
first is really nice. I think Likely. I'm on the opposite. I think this is a good buy low. I want Likely in every league, dynasty league, just like a kind of throw him in.
I like Likely. I think how long is that's gonna take to develop? You know, where Pat is already there, a guy you don't have to worry about. You set and forget.
Yeah,
Likely.
You were team 2 here, right?
I was team 2. And
man, this is so difficult because I'm in love with Jameson Williams. I'm lit he was my favorite wide receiver in this class. And but Amon-Ra looks great. I think overall with the context, everything is very close for me. Dobbs is going to be the determining factor in this trade, like what his outcome is. But having Pat there, right now tight end 6 according to the community, I agree. I think he should be viewed as like a top 6 tight end in Dynasty.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go team 1 here.
Okay.
It's really close. It's really close. I would be happy with either side. So it's really close. I'm gonna give both teams an A. Because I think this makes sense.
I have teams very, very similar. So I had team 1 a B and team 2 a B plus. They're really close to each other. Some really good talent on both sides of the trade. I think it's a toss up. It wins. I think we won't know what's going to happen in the long term.
Are you open to selling Amon-Ra high right now, or are you keeping him?
I am
22 years old. Has looked dominant.
It's crazy. If I'm selling him high, and if I'm selling him high, I think I want somebody like Justin Jefferson or Chase. Not saying a clean swap. If I can package Amon-Ra maybe for like a first and get somebody like that, then I'll be okay with it. Maybe even a first is too much.
Let's stay in the same team. If someone could offer you a top 5 pick in the 23 draft and Jameson Williams, I'm taking that deal over Amon-Ra right now if I can get that done.
Yeah, I would agree.
You're doing that as well? Okay.
I think I would agree, yes.
Just an interesting conversation. All right, and the last trade here is from Albino Samoan. Team 1 gets Geno Smith, Damian Harris. Team 2 gets Josh Jacobs. He says, the context here, 12-team Superflex. I'm a competing team who was having quarterback issues between Stafford and Tua. Knew I was kind of losing some dynasty value, but needed the quarterback help and had an excess of running backs. Jacobs was my RB4 behind Barkley, Eckler, Fournette, and James Robinson. Also have Etienne and Akers, so felt good, giving him up. I mean, look, let's just be honest here with this one.
Let's just be real.
You tell me where you stand. I personally think Josh Jacobs is more valuable than both of these players. Geno Smith has looked good, but Geno Smith is still, long term. Maybe if I'm just trying to win this year, I'll try and get Geno. But long term, I still don't believe Geno is the answer. Now, I could be wrong on that. That's fair. But I'm taking Josh Jacobs over both of these players. I would take the Josh Jacobs deal as a whole. With his context, I think it makes sense as to why he made the move, and Jacobs was expendable. So this makes sense on both sides for me. Do you see it differently?
No, it definitely makes sense. You hit the nail on the head. I think the real conversation, what people want to hear, is if Geno is the answer for the Seahawks. If Geno signs a 2-year contract like a Jameis Winston in New Orleans, then I think it should go to the other side. We wouldn't know that, we won't know that either to the end of the year, or if the Seahawks are no longer in a place to get a quarterback in the draft. So that's how I would see the scenario. I agree. Team 2 is where I want to go, but I think a lot of the community and right now saying, well, Geno's been winning some games and he's been looking good. But if they can't get a quarterback and they have Geno, let's sign him to a team-friendly 2-year deal or another 1-year deal, whatever the case may be. Then we'll see what happens. But
it looks good. I think right now you see Josh Jacobs play and what it means to that offense, and you ask yourself, how the hell do they not re-sign him to a long-term deal? He truly looks like a top 5 to 6 to 7 running back in the NFL right now.
He's up there.
I mean, in the last 2 weeks, it's like, holy shit, this guy is fucking incredible. Okay, so that's it for today. Why don't you guys let us know in the comments where you stand? You know, all right, for trade 1, I'm team 1, blah, blah, blah. Like the video, comment, join the Discord if you want your trade to be considered, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLandFam.